1. The Great Wall of China, Beijing. The legendary Great Wall of China is not just China's most famous landmark, it is one of the most extraordinary human achievements in history, stretching over 21,000 kilometers across mountains, deserts, and plains. This colossal structure was built and rebuilt over multiple dynasties, most notably during the Ming Dynasty. Visiting the wall near Beijing offers dramatically different experiences, depending on the section you choose. Badaling is the most restored and accessible, perfect for first-time visitors. Mutianyu offers stunning forested scenery with fewer crowds. Jinshanling provides a more rugged, authentic atmosphere, where ancient bricks and wild landscapes blend together. Walking along the Great Wall feels cinematic. The stone steps rise and fall steeply across mountain ridges. Watchtowers stand guard against the horizon, and on misty mornings, the wall disappears into clouds like a dragon weaving through the peaks. At sunset, golden light transforms the stones into glowing amber, creating one of the most unforgettable views in Asia. 2. The Forbidden City, Beijing. At the heart of Beijing lies the magnificent Forbidden City, the largest imperial palace complex in the world. For nearly 500 years, this vast architectural masterpiece served as the home of emperors. During the Ming and Qing dynasties, ordinary citizens were forbidden from entering, hence the name. Spanning 180 acres with nearly 1,000 preserved buildings, the Forbidden City is a perfect example of classical Chinese architecture. Golden rooftops shimmer under the sun, massive red gates create dramatic entrances, and white marble bridges cross ornamental waterways. As you walk through the grand courtyards and ceremonial halls, you can imagine imperial processions, royal rituals, and centuries of political intrigue. The Hall of Supreme Harmony dominates the complex with its elevated platform, and intricate dragon carving symbolizing imperial power. Behind the formal halls, the inner court reveals a more intimate world of gardens, living quarters, and peaceful pavilions. Visiting early in the morning allows you to experience the scale and symmetry of this UNESCO site without heavy crowds, making it one of the most powerful historical experiences in China. 3. The Terracotta Army, Xi'an. One of the greatest archaeological discoveries in human history, the Terracotta Army is both mysterious and breathtaking. Discovered in 1970 near Xi'an, this vast underground army was created over 2,200 years ago to guard the tomb of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. More than 8,000 life-size soldiers, along with horses and chariots, were buried in massive pits. What makes this site truly astonishing is that no two warriors are identical. Each face has distinct features, hairstyles, and expressions, from generals to archers to infantrymen. Standing at the edge of Pit 1, the largest excavation area, you see endless rows of silent soldiers stretching into the distance. The scale is overwhelming. The craftsmanship is extraordinary, and the mystery surrounding the emperor's still unopened tomb adds even more intrigue. Xi'an itself, one of China's oldest cities and the starting point of the ancient Silk Road, perfectly complements the experience with its preserved city walls and vibrant Muslim quarter. 4. Zhangjiajie National Forest Park, Hunan. If you've ever seen the floating mountains in the movie Avatar, you've already glimpsed the surreal beauty of Zhangjiajie National Forest Park. Located in Hunan Province, this UNESCO-listed park is famous for its towering sandstone pillars that rise dramatically from forested valleys. Some columns soar over 200 meters high, often surrounded by mist that creates an otherworldly atmosphere. The glass bridge suspended between cliffs offers heart-racing views straight down into the canyon below. Cable cars carry visitors up to panoramic viewpoints, where endless peaks stretch to the horizon. Sunrise and sunset here are magical. Fog moves between the pillars like waves, transforming the landscape every few minutes. It feels less like Earth and more like stepping into a fantasy world. 5. Guilin and the Li River, Guangxi. The landscapes around Guilin are so iconic that they appear on the 20-yuan banknote, and once you see them in person, you immediately understand why. This region is famous for its dramatic karst mountains, surreal limestone peaks that rise vertically from the earth like natural sculptures shaped over millions of years. The true highlight is cruising along the Li River, a journey often described as one of the most beautiful river trips in the world. As your boat glides slowly through calm waters, layers of mist drift between jagged peaks, creating a scene that looks like a living Chinese ink painting. The mountains don't just sit in the background, they surround you entirely, appearing and disappearing as the river bends. Along the riverbanks, you'll see traditional villages, water buffalo grazing peacefully, bamboo rafts floating quietly downstream, and fishermen practicing the centuries-old technique of fishing with trained cormorant birds. The pace here is slow. The atmosphere is poetic. Time feels suspended. Arriving in nearby Yangshuo, the landscape becomes even more immersive. Cycling through rice paddies framed by towering karst formations feels almost cinematic. Hidden caves, moon-shaped natural arches, and rural countryside roads reveal a softer, romantic side of China, far from megacities and skyscrapers. At sunrise, the fog wraps around the peaks like silk. At sunset, golden light reflects off the river, turning the entire valley into a glowing masterpiece. 6. Shanghai, the skyline of the future. If Guilin represents ancient poetry, Shanghai represents the future. Shanghai is China's most futuristic metropolis, a global financial powerhouse, where East and West collide in spectacular fashion. The heart of the city's visual drama lies along the Bund, the historic waterfront promenade that faces Pudong's ultra-modern skyline. On one side of the Huangpu River, grand European-style buildings from the colonial era stand in elegant contrast to what rises across the water, a forest of glass and steel skyscrapers that seem pulled from a science fiction film. The skyline is dominated by architectural icons like the spiraling Shanghai Tower and the unmistakable spheres of the Oriental Pearl Tower. At night, the entire skyline transforms into a neon spectacle. Buildings pulse with shifting colors, LED displays illuminate the clouds, and river cruises glide through reflections of electric blue and magenta. But Shanghai isn't just futuristic. Wander into the French concession and you'll find tree-lined streets, Art Deco buildings, boutique cafes, and a completely different rhythm. Explore traditional Shikumen alleyways and you'll glimpse old Shanghai hidden between modern development. From rooftop bars overlooking the skyline to high-speed trains departing ultra-modern stations, Shanghai captures China's rapid transformation better than anywhere else in the country. 7. Jiuzhaigou Valley, the turquoise wonderland. Deep in Sichuan province lies one of China's most visually surreal destinations, Jiuzhaigou Valley. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is famous for its intensely turquoise alpine lakes, water so clear and vibrantly colored they look digitally enhanced. The secret lies in mineral deposits and algae that create shades of blue, green, and aquamarine unlike anywhere else on Earth. Walking through Jiuzhaigou feels like entering a fairy tale. Wooden pathways wind through pristine forests, leading to multi-tiered waterfalls cascading over limestone terraces. Snow-capped peaks rise in the distance, framing mirror-like lakes that perfectly reflect autumn foliage. In fall, the valley explodes into red, gold, and orange tones. The contrast between fiery trees and crystal-clear lakes creates scenes that feel almost unreal. Even in winter, frozen waterfalls and snow-covered forests transform the park into a silent white kingdom. Unlike many dramatic landscapes that feel harsh or intimidating, Jiuzhaigou feels peaceful. The air is fresh. The sounds are soft, flowing water, wind through leaves, distant birds. It's nature in its purest, most delicate form. 8. Potala Palace, Lhasa. Towering above the city of Lhasa, at 3,700 meters above sea level stands the breathtaking Potala Palace. This massive white and red palace, built against Red Hill, looks less like a building and more like a mountain carved into architecture. Once the winter residence of the Dalai Lama, it remains one of the most spiritually significant sites in Tibetan Buddhism. From a distance, the palace appears almost unreal, rising layer upon layer with golden rooftops glinting under the Himalayan sun. Up close, its scale becomes overwhelming. Steep staircases lead through thick stone walls into a labyrinth of sacred halls, prayer rooms, golden stupas, and centuries-old murals. Inside, the atmosphere is deeply spiritual. Butter lamps flicker in dim corridors. The scent of incense fills the air. Pilgrims walk clockwise around the palace spinning prayer wheels, whispering mantras with devotion. Beyond its architecture, the Potala Palace represents resilience, faith, and centuries of Tibetan culture. The high-altitude setting adds to its mystique, with clear blue skies, distant mountains, and thin crisp air amplifying the sense of isolation and sacredness. It is not just a landmark, it is an experience that feels profound. 9. West Lake, Hangzhou. Few places in China embody classical beauty like West Lake in Hangzhou. For centuries, poets, painters, and scholars have drawn inspiration from this tranquil landscape. The lake is surrounded by gentle hills, elegant pagodas, willow trees dipping into calm waters, and arched stone bridges that look lifted from ancient scroll paintings. Unlike dramatic mountain destinations, West Lake is subtle. Its beauty reveals itself slowly. Morning mist drifts across the surface. Lotus flowers bloom in summer. Rain creates ripples that soften the entire scene. Walking along the shoreline or taking a traditional wooden boat across the water feels meditative. Temples and tea plantations nearby add cultural depth to the visit, especially the famous Longjing tea fields, where some of China's finest green tea is grown. Sunset here is especially magical. As the sky turns pastel pink and gold, silhouettes of pagodas reflect in the still water. The entire atmosphere becomes serene, elegant, and timeless. West Lake isn't overwhelming, it's calming, and that's exactly what makes it unforgettable. 10. Huangshan, Yellow Mountain, Anhui. Few landscapes in the world are as iconic as Huangshan, also known as Yellow Mountain. This UNESCO-listed mountain range is famous for its jagged granite peaks, twisted pine trees growing from sheer cliffs, and the legendary Sea of Clouds phenomenon. When mist rolls beneath the mountain ridges, it creates the illusion that the peaks are floating above an ocean of white. The scenery here inspired countless traditional Chinese paintings. In fact, when people imagine classical Chinese mountain art, they are often imagining Huangshan. Cable cars carry visitors high into the mountains. But to truly experience Huangshan, you hike. Stone staircases carved directly into cliffs lead to dramatic viewpoints, where the landscape unfolds endlessly in all directions. At sunrise, the mountains glow in soft gold light. At sunset, shadows stretch across valleys while clouds shift and swirl like living waves. Weather changes quickly here, transforming the scenery every hour. The ancient pine trees, some over 1,000 years old, cling to rocks in impossible positions, symbolizing endurance and strength. Huangshan feels both powerful and poetic, raw nature shaped into art by time itself.